What if the reason that you are unhappy with your body isn't because you haven't dieted hard enough, but because you've only ever dieted, and exercise has only ever been a way of trying to lose weight, manage your weight, and something that you have to do for that? What I'm about to tell you is that the solution might actually be not to diet hard or even diet at all, but to eat better and train smarter. I'm going to run through with you a completely different approach to building a physique that you love. One that makes you feel fitter, stronger, healthier, and more confident in your 30s and 40s. I'm Rachel, an online coach helping women get fit, get strong, get more confident, and build a body that they love and look and feel better than they did in their 20s. Now, so many women are stuck in this cycle of chronic dieting, over restriction, super low calories, wanting a quick fix, overnight results. And I always think of it as like doing something as hard and as quick as they can to try and get the result, but then struggling to maintain it. Exercise becomes nothing more than just a way of burning calories, sweating, chasing exhaustion, and feeling like you are doing something for fat loss. But here's the problem. If that's all you've ever done, you will not have the muscle mass to begin with. So even if you diet really hard and lose weight, you're still probably not going to look how you want to look. If you're carrying less muscle, you're going to have to diet on lower calories, which is going to make it harder. And so you put all this work in to just feel like a smaller version of yourself. And that's frustrating because you just end up feeling like you're in this perpetual diet cycle and never actually getting anywhere. So instead of dieting yourself into the ground, here's an approach that actually works. And this is what I did indirectly. You eat at maintenance, but you clean up your diet. I'm not talking like eating clean. I'm meaning really look at what you are eating and focus on food quality, eating things that are going to make you feel good, fuel you, help you perform, give you energy. So high quality, satisfying food. Protein every meal, fruits, veggies, filling carbohydrates, healthy fats. Because yes, all you need is a calorie deficit to lose fat. But where your calories are coming from will help how you feel, how you function, how hard you can train, how satisfied you feel, all of these things. So food quality matters. And you strip back your training. And you train to get strong. So not random classes, not endless HIIT sessions, not chasing exhaustion, not just adding more in just to try and increase the calorie burn. You train to get strong, build muscle, feel powerful, feel confident, increase your strength, and actually start to enjoy training for a reason, training to feel good in yourself. And like I say, this is what I did indirectly. I spent about 2 years, maybe even longer, not thinking about what I weighed, what my body looked like, how to try and change my physique. I just ate consistently and tried to eat as well as I could, and I trained hard, and I focused on what my body could do. I focused on what could I lift, what could I improve on, how could I improve my output, improve my strength, how could I actually build some muscle. And that is when my physique changed the most. And if I'd done it more intentionally, I could have had an even better outcome still. But I did it from a place of I was done with trying to chase a smaller body, and I just wanted to focus on something different. And my food quality wasn't even as good as it could have been. So how do you actually go about doing this? Now, this is what I do with some of my clients when they join FSF, because I don't give out meal plans and I don't give out calorie targets from the get-go. Some people will never have a calorie target to work towards. Everybody's treated differently. But what I get the majority of women to do when they first sign up is, I just want to see what you eat for 2 to 4 weeks. I want to know whether you have consistent eating habits, what your go-to food choices are, how much you're currently eating, how that's split up. Is that consistent? Does that vary? What foods are you eating a lot of? What foods you maybe need more of? And we start to see the patterns, we start to see the food time, we start to see what you eat when you're stressed, what you eat when you're tired, what you eat around your exercise. And that paints a really good picture and a really good starting point to know where to go from there. Because as I will always say, it's always better to make small changes and keep adding to that rather than trying to overhaul the whole diet. So if you record your food for 2 to 4 weeks, not to try and be strict, not to try and follow a diet, just to try and bring awareness and accountability to what you're currently eating, and you'll start to see some patterns. Emotional triggers, where your gaps in protein are, what your weekends look like compared to your weekdays, what happens if you don't eat all day at work, the foods that you eat consistently. It makes me laugh when I talk about nutrition with a lot of people because they're like, oh, I can't eat that same food a few times a week. But they already are. We still gravitate towards the same foods. It's just often we need to change what those foods look like. Once you've done that, once you've done 2 to 4 weeks, start to make small, realistic adjustments to clean that up. And what I mean by that is add in some more colour, variety, make sure there's some protein in there, adjust your portion sizes, bring in some more balance to the meals. And this can be gradual, this isn't overnight. Make sure you're eating consistently. Reduce snacking if that's a problem. And then train with intent. 2 to 4 sessions a week. Focus on form. Take your time. Train hard. Start building the weight. Use the food that you're eating to fuel your sessions and feel good. Rest, recover, go again. Focus on building strength, building muscle, enjoying the training, knowing what it's like to feel fueled rather than feeling empty when you do your workouts. If you do those 2 things, you will start to notice changes in your physique. Now, it isn't as simple as you're not just going to necessarily be able to drop loads of body fat and build muscle at the same time. Some people it's a little bit more possible depending on where they are in their journey and also genetics, but just by the nature of eating better food, fueling yourself well, eating in and around maintenance and training hard, your body will respond in a positive way. Then, once your nutrition is solid, once you've been eating at maintenance, you're in the groove of training, you're training hard, you're building strength, you're building some muscle, you can consider adding in a small deficit into how you're eating. But this time it's not just going to be pulled from thin air, it's not just going to be the figures you put into a calorie counter. It's based off what you're currently eating and creating a small deficit in that. That is all you need to then start dropping some body fat. So it means you can actually eat as high as calories as possible from good quality food, that's the food that you're used to eating and that fuels you, while still dropping some of the body fat. You'll be feeling good in your training, you'll be still having the energy. And how long you're in those phases is entirely dependent on your starting point. But even just being in the position where you are eating well and training hard, you will start to see changes and start to see improvements in your performance, in how you feel, in how you show up day to day. So that alone is a really positive place to be and get you out of the diet cycle. And that's actually how you build a body that you love and that looks better than it did in your 20s. It's by putting the time and the effort into what it takes. And then fat loss becomes a hell of a lot easier and a much shorter phase that you need to be in a deficit for if you build the foundation. So if you've been stuck in the perpetual diet loop, this approach could change everything for you. I hope it helped. let me know, and please drop me a message if you want to know how that approach could work for you. And I'll see you in the next video.